NBA Competition Committee will reportedly look into the way certain shooters initiate contact and draw fouls with unnatural movements, a.k.a. the Reggie Miller rule. James Harden and Trae Young have made a living out of doing this. Reg is the godfather of this. He joins us now. We're going to call it the Reggie Miller rule. What do you think?
This is getting ridiculous. I'm serious. I mean, I got penalized. I shouldn't say but they put the rule in about the leg kick, which to this day I still believe is a good move and a good shot.
Yeah, but it's unnatural, though. You're kicking your leg out to draw
I'm
contact.
not kicking. I'm just creating space. That's all. This is my space. So, look.
Okay, explain this, though. What they're focusing this rule on James Harden and Trae Young, right?
And we've been hearing this year about those two players. And I guess you can probably throw Giannis in there as well. Offensive players seeking out contact on drives, on those floaters, and initiating the contact and getting the call. I think it's going to be so hard to monitor for these officials. They already got enough on their plate. Now they've got to figure out in a split second, at times without the help of replay, who's initiating the contact. They wanted scoring up. So what they're really doing is penalizing the shooter and the scorer in this instance. So I'm a little surprised at that because freedom of movement, this is what they've always wanted. So this is going to me, kind of hurt some of the scores because as a natural born scorer, as I was, you do seek out contact. I felt I played better and I shot better when I knew where the defender was, when I could feel him. It was a much harder shot for me if I was wide open, as opposed to someone closing on me or being right on my body. I felt that was a little bit easier for me to get the ball off and score.
But it feels like Trae Young and James Harden, there's a gimmick about them drawing their contact.
I'm more surprised they haven't talked about like the traveling and the step backs and the side steps. To me, that's more infuriating than seeking out contact, but I kind of get it a little bit.
Less free throws, maybe faster games. Maybe that's what the NBA is trying to do here. I don't know.
Again, you're adding and piling on these officials to make split-second decisions in big-time moments of playoff games or for next year. I mean, I think they're overloaded already, the officials, and now you're telling them they got to be able to differentiate between who's making the contact.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Do you think that there were referees that didn't like you? Like truly didn't like you?
I wouldn't say didn't like me, but there were certainly some officials I felt at times had a bias. I wouldn't say didn't like. I mean, that's a strong word. I felt like I could communicate with most officials. There were some officials that you just couldn't say anything to. It was a quick tee and you're kind of muted for the rest of the game. But I felt I had a pretty good relationship with most officials, though I did talk a lot to them and complain a lot to them. It's how you go about it. And
does complaining work, Reg?
No, it doesn't. But it sure made me feel better. No, it doesn't. Isn't the day? No, it doesn't. But what you're trying to do and what I was trying to do, you're always trying to plant a little bit of seed, because if it's a close game and the game is in the balance, you want all that talking you did through 3.5 quarters to matter in the last 2 minutes of a close game. That's probably the only reason why I talked so much, was trying to plant a seed.
Reg will be on the call for the Eastern Conference Finals. Who do you expect to be in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Wow. Last week we talked about this was going to be a sweep by Brooklyn. They were looking great. And I keep telling people, it's great to have the best talent in the world. It's great to be well coached. But to win a championship, Theodore, you've got to have a lot of luck on your team. You think about Kobe's and Shaq's three-peat with the Lakers. You think about MJ and Scotty and back-to-back three-peats. A lot of luck. Were they talented? Absolutely. Were they well coached? Absolutely. But you've got to have a lot of luck. Can you even remember when MJ even thought about missing a game because of an injury when he was – I can't remember if he ever did miss a game. And it wasn't like he was just shooting jump shots. I mean, he was driving, punishing people, and no twisted ankles, no knee issues. A lot of luck goes into winning championships, and the healthiest team is going to win this year's championship. Who's going to be standing at the end? I mean, it's unfortunate. Injuries are a part of the game. You just don't want them at this time of the year, which we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and Harden's status, he's upgraded to doubtful for tonight.
Yeah.
He's not going to play. Now it's on Kevin Durant, and he's had the benefit of these super teams recently. Now it's back to, all right.
OKC days.
Let's see what you can do. Let's see. Go out there. Let's see you win a big game.
I will say this. If there's any one player who could deliver a huge game in a moment like this, it's Kevin Durant. And I will say this, role players play better at home. I expect Brooklyn and some of these guys that normally don't get the limelight because it's Kyrie or James Harden along with KD. They'll shoot better. They'll play harder. That New York crowd will kind of energize them a little bit. It's, I'm not going out on a limb here. Who wins tonight, to me, wins the series between Milwaukee and Brooklyn. If I'm Brooklyn, all I'm saying is, look, let's just win our home games. We win our home games, we advance to the conference finals. But this is Milwaukee's best chance. This will maybe their only chance, because if it goes 7 games, I can't see them winning back in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
This is the chance for Milwaukee to win the series. They've got to win tonight with 2 superstars down for the Nets and just KD. It's got to be all our chips in the center of the table for Milwaukee. They must win tonight to win this series.
Is it a bigger game for Durant or a bigger game for the Greek Freak? Because he doesn't have any excuses here.
I agree. I think there's built-in excuses for KD because he doesn't have Kyrie and Harden. But it's the only game tonight. All eyes will be on this matchup. And let's face it, Milwaukee has come up short the last 2 years. They've had the best record the last 2 years, and they've fallen short. And the Greek has not played up to MVP expectations by winning back-to-back MVPs. Come playoff, he has disappeared. He had a great game 4, but you're right.
Why is he taking those threes?
What's that?
Why is the Greek Freak taking those threes?
I have no idea.
I want him to take
because they're daring him. They're daring him. They're baiting him into it. But that's a recipe for disaster. I just don't get it. I really don't get it.
Yeah, I don't want him going to the hoop. If I'm Brooklyn, if you stay on the perimeter, that means you can't rebound and you're not a good shooter. So go ahead, take those shots there.
And here's the thing. It's not only the threes. I'd almost bait them into long 2s too. If you're going to settle, and you're not going to put pressure on Blake Griffin or any of our interior bigs, I'll settle for that. I'll win. That's a win if you're Steve Nash in Brooklyn.
He's Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer, Turner Sports NBA Analyst. He'll be on the call for the Eastern Conference Finals. Chris Paul getting a lot of love after the sweep. And I was talking to your buddy Mark Jackson yesterday on where's Chris Paul on the all-time point guard list. And he had Chris Paul up there pretty high. I like Chris, but is it asking too much that he hasn't won? And I'm not talking about an NBA title. I mean, he hadn't even had an appearance there, but like getting to the Western Conference Finals, I don't know.
This will be his second appearance in the Western Conference Finals throughout his 13 or 14 year career.
Yeah. And he's played on good teams. He played on.
I will say this: if Chris ends up winning a championship, not this year or any year, in my opinion, he moves into the top 5. Right now, he's not in my top 5, top 7, 8 right now.
Okay, so it's Magic, Isiah,
Steph. We're considering Steph a point guard. Steph, Stockton, maybe J. Kidd.
Okay.
That would probably be my 5. Now, if he wins a championship, I think he would bump Stockton out of my top 5.
Wow.
If he was to win a championship. If he doesn't win a championship, he would probably be 6 or 7. You still got Oscar out there. You still have Gary Payton out there. Jerry West, is he considered a point guard? He's in that mix, in that discussion.
He was a shooting guard. But,
I mean, people are going to say that about Steph as well, but Steph is classified as a point guard.
Yeah, but he's only
Allen Iverson, shooting guard.
No, he's a point guard.
Are we putting AI as a point guard or a shooting guard?
No, he's a point guard. He's a scorer. He's not a shooting guard.
I think Eric Snow was the point guard on that team.
Okay. What is LeBron?
He's a point guard.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
so
he's a point guard.
Is he the greatest point guard of all time?
No, no one will ever trump Magic Johnson as the best point guard ever.
Well, wait a minute. We got LeBron as the second best player of all time, Reg. So he's the second best player of all time, but he's not the best point guard.
No, he's not the best point guard. No, he's not the best point guard.
I just boxed you in a corner. I'm Scottie Pippen. I'm picking you up full court.
Yes, but I'm finding a way to get around you.
Because LeBron's a point guard.
He's a point forward.
So was Scottie. Scottie Pippen was a point forward.
So who are you taking, Scottie or LeBron?
LeBron.
All right, just want to make sure we're on the same page here.
Yeah, but all right, so LeBron's the second best point guard of all time. Yes, he is.
I guess you got to put LeBron as...
he's going to end up top 5 in assists.
Then I'm moving J. Kidd out of there. J. Kidd is gone. I'm going Isiah, Steph, no order. Magic, Isiah, Steph. Those 3 are guaranteed. There's 2 spots that will always be up for debate. And that's going to be Stockton and J. Kidd.
If you couldn't play with Magic, let me take Magic out of this. The point guard you would want to play with, current or past?
Either Isiah or Jason Kidd for my skill set. One of those 2.
But did you hate Isiah?
Oh, man, it's that Central Division. Couldn't stand him just like MJ.
Oh, okay.
He would be smiling all in your face, acting like he's your friend and stuff, taking the biggest cheap shots ever. And one of the toughest point guards. I love me some Zeke. Former coach me.
Yeah.
But sneaky nasty. Sneaky.
Does he know people don't like him?
I don't think he cares.
Really?
I don't think he cares.
Like Bill Laimbeer didn't care. Isiah, I think, cared. Remember the whole thing with, when they were going to freeze out Jordan and like that bothered Isiah.
Well, it wasn't wrong. it was true.
Did you? So you knew? Were you
on that All-Star? I was not on that All-Star team, but rumors have it.
Would you have frozen out Jordan?
No.
If you were if Isiah said we're not going to throw in the ball.
I don't know how you can freeze out.
No, you just act like he's not open.
Come on, man.
Do you think it's true, though, that he froze out Mike?
I think there was a little friendly animosity going on there. Yes, I do.
I don't think it was friendly.
Yes.
I don't think it was friendly. Judging from The Last Dance, it's not friendly. That's not friendly at all, certainly from Michael's perspective.
Hey, I'm rolling with Zeke. Zeke.
Wait, if I said you could have Zeke or Mike?
For my skill set, like to play with?
Yeah.
I'm not rolling with either one of them. I got built up issues with both.
Okay.
I can't roll with either.
How about Steve Nash? You can play with Steve.
Oh, I can play with Steve. Yeah, that's another.
And Stockton.
Steve Nash is top 8, right? He's got to be in that category. Certainly top 10.
The amazing thing is the Phoenix Suns had J. Kidd, Kevin Johnson, and Steve Nash at the same time.
Yes. Wow. I mean, wow.
And KJ was the starter, right? So the backup, those are the Hall of Famers with J. Kidd and Steve Nash. I don't think KJ's a Hall of Famer, is he?
No, but for those of you who have never seen Kevin Johnson, I mean, that's who those two dudes learned from. Was Kevin Johnson.
Yeah.
One of the best pick and roll players maybe ever. Maybe ever.
He was athletic, man.
Oh, he was good.
He was. Oh, by the way.
He and I, we go back to our rivalry between UCLA and Cal. So we were the same draft. Look, I've had a lot of time seeing Kevin Johnson. So
I got you playing 80 games or more in a season 10 times. Durant, Harden, and Kyrie have played 80 or more games in a season 7 times combined. Would you have load management now, though?
You have to now. I mean, that's
like, but travel's better, nutrition is better, like everything is better now. It could have helped Nash with his back. It could have helped Larry Bird, maybe with load management there. Does it make sense to play 80 games in a season?
If you love the game, yeah, Theodore. I mean, I love the game. I loved playing. I love performing. Looking back on my career, and someone told me the stat, I played in 96% of my games. I played over 1,300 games. There's something about lacing them up each and every day. Now that I look back, could I have taken a game or two off? Certainly. But I always felt there was some fan, kid, mom, dad, that was saving up their piggy bank to come watch the Indiana Pacers play either at home or on the road. And they heard about this guy named Reggie Miller who talked a lot of trash and shot 35, 40 footers. This was going to be their one opportunity to see. I didn't know who they were, but I felt it was an obligation to play. That's was my mentality of playing.
Nobody thinks that now.
It's about the money.
Yeah, I know, but I think that that you're going to be able to get into another contract if you limit your games. You get ready for the postseason, right. And Kawhi, that knee is going to be an issue. I don't know how serious that knee is. If it's just arthritic and it's going to be there, the rest of his life, but he might be playing himself into one more contract because of load management here. And I understand it. I don't like it, but I do understand where this is a business. Everybody's expendable, and these athletes are trying to stay as long as they can.
Yeah. And you've got to maximize what your body will deliver. And I get it, and I understand it. These are billionaires talking to millionaires. Yeah. And I totally get it. I get it. Because you only have one body, you only have one career, and you only have a certain window to make as much money as you can. And that's why you see certain guys take off during the regular season. Yeah. But to me, it's kind of catching up to them come playoff time because their body is not used to all the pounding come playoff time.
And just being in shape. Reg will be on the call for the Eastern Conference Finals. Great to talk to you again, Reg. We'll talk to you soon.
Theodore, you're the best. Love my Danettes. Love y'all.
We'll come back with phone calls after this.